All right, so we're going to do a quick video to show you the idea of how we do long division with polynomials. What I've found is it's a little bit helpful. I'm actually going to show you and refresh your memory. You're going to revert back to the age of about 8 when you learn how to do long division with numbers. So I'm going to kind of refresh your memory and help you think through what the process is going to be for this long division problem with polynomials by refreshing your memory on how we do long division with just numbers to begin with. Okay? All right, so if we are dividing 5 into this number of 4,683, remember we would say that 5, we would try to decide if 5 goes into 4 and it does not. So then we're looking at 5 going into 46 and we say 5 goes into 46 9 times. And then we multiply 9 times 5 and we get 45. And then remember at this point we subtract. So we subtract these two numbers and say 46 minus 45. We subtract and we get 1. And then we bring down this 8 and we divide again and we say, okay, how many times now does 5 go into 18? And 5 goes into 18 3 times, and 3 times 5 is 15. And then we do the subtraction and see what's left over, basically, what our difference is. So 18 minus 15, and we get 3. And we bring down this 3. So now we're dividing 5 into 33. And we say, well, 5 goes into 33 6 times. And 6 times 5 is 30. We subtract again. And so then we get a remainder of 3. Now, one of your teachers way back when probably let you just leave it like that. But then one of your later teachers said, well, no, we know how we can write that. And we write that as 3/5 because that's the part that's left over that we're trying to divide into the 5 equal parts. So 5 divides into 4,683, 936 3/5 times. So that's our answer. So that's the process. I want you to think about how we did the dividing part, and then we put this number up on top, and then we multiplied. And then here, kind of a key component of these problems is to remember at this point we subtract. So keep that in mind when we are looking at this other problem over here. Okay? All right, so we are going to divide. I'm just going to show you one example, and then we're going to do some more in class. So we're going to divide this polynomial x minus 2 into 2x cubed plus 8x squared minus 6x plus 10. So we want to focus our attention primarily actually on the x of the x minus 2 part. And so because we're trying to decide how many times can x go into 2x cubed. So another way of thinking about that is what do we multiply x by in order to get to 2x cubed? So we have to multiply x times 2x squared in order to get 2x cubed. So the next process here is important because we're going to multiply this 2x squared. We're going to multiply it times the x, and that gives us 2x cubed. And then we're going to multiply the 2x squared. We also have to multiply it times the second term. So we're multiplying up times that -2. So we get negative 4x squared. All right. Key step here, key component. I'm going to change colors here and stress this. At this point, we would subtract, right? That's what we did over here in this next problem is that we subtracted. So we're going to subtract here, only I'm not going to think of it as subtracting. Rather, I'm going to think of it as I want to add, but I'm going to add the opposite. So I'm going to switch that sign, and I'm going to switch that sign because we know that subtracting is the same thing as adding the opposite. So I'm going to switch this sign. I switched this sign. Now, when I start to add down and see what combines together, this has to combine to 0, and if it doesn't, then you know you've done something wrong. But we can add this part, and that gives us 12x squared. And then we have to bring down our minus 6x. And then we are dividing again. So now we are trying to decide x goes into 12x squared how many times? Or the other way of thinking about it is x times how much gives us 12x squared. And that would be 12x. So I'm going to multiply 12x, and I'm going to multiply that times my x, and I get 12x squared. And then I have to remember to multiply that 12x times this negative 2 also. So that gives me a negative 24x. And once again, this is the key step. At this point, we have to remember we're going to switch this sign. So we're going to change this to adding the opposite. So I'm going to put a negative here. And this I'm going to switch to its opposite sign. And I'm going to add these values together rather than subtracting. So, but in this case, we have a positive 24 and a negative 6. So that gives me an 18x. And I'm going to bring down this 10. And I'm going to continue this division process. So now I'm trying to decide about this x up here. How many times that goes into 18x, or what can I multiply in order to get that 18x? So I'm going to have to multiply by 18. And when I multiply that, I do get 18x. When I multiply this, the 18 times the negative 2, I get negative 36. And once again, we have to remember to switch that sign. So I'm going to switch this sign to negative, that sign to plus. That adds to 0. Remember, it has to. And we get a remainder then of 46. So x minus 2 divides into this long polynomial. And we get as our answer 2x squared plus 12x plus 18 plus 46 over x minus 2. So whatever this number is, we're putting it over what we are dividing by. Not too bad, huh? All right, more to come during class, but I wanted to at least give you an introductory example just to kind of help you start to think through the process.